guys hear you? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the special meeting of the Lakeport City Council for Tuesday, August 8th. We canceled our last meeting to hold National Night Out, so we have a few items tonight before us, and we're going to get straight into those. Oh, can you hear me? Sorry.
Thank you.
How about now?
Not yet?
No?
Yeah, I just have a warm up now, see.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes.
Good evening. All right. Did you guys hear any of that? Nothing?
Mumble.
Mumble? All right, then we'll start over. Good evening and welcome to the special meeting of the Lakeport City Council for Tuesday, August 8th. We canceled our last meeting to hold National Night Out, which was great success. And now we have 4 items tonight that we're going to go straight through. So the first is a public hearing on delinquent utility charges. Is this you, Kevin?
That's our finance director.
Oh, of course. Nick?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. The City Council is being asked to hold a public hearing on delinquent utility accounts and review and approve a resolution identifying delinquent utility accounts for submission of the list to the Lake County Auditor Controller for inclusion on the property tax roll. A requirement of doing so is a public hearing and council's approval by a 4/5 majority vote. And a resolution identifying the accounts in question and confirming their delinquency. You have in front of you an updated list from the list that went out in the packet. And it shows that we've collected up until about 40 minutes ago, we collected about $7,000 worth of the delinquent accounts and about $20,000 worth since I initially reported 2-3 weeks ago. So it's been effective. And there's about $15,426.20 left to place on the tax roll.
Okay, great. Any questions? Anyone from the public? Okay, we'll bring it back for a motion.
It's a public hearing, would you?
Oh, thank you. Let me back up and we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Anyone from the public like to speak on this? Last chance. Okay, we'll close the public hearing and look for a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution to confirm and approve the utility billing delinquency list and the associated resolution and direct staff to submit the list to the County Auditor Controller for inclusion on the property tax roll.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a bid award on the Geiselman paving project.
Correct. Mayor, Council, I apologize that the bid tab was not in the original staff report. I do hope that you have that there before you now. We had 2 bids for this project. The low bidder was Team Gelati, and the second bidder was Martin Brothers Construction. Team Gelati is, I believe, their North Bay area, and Martin Brothers is out of Sacramento. And we did solicit for and followed up phone calls with all of our local pavers. They're all declined to bid because they're too busy, which is a plus and a minus. The plus is I'm really happy they're busy. The minus is that now we have to pay more because we're having to bring in out-of-area contractors and mobilization, and all of those things go up when you have to bring in out-of-area contractors. So, but Team Gelati was the low bid. Staff's gone through, all the paperwork was in order, and we're recommending the staff award the Geiselman Overlay Project to Team Gelati.
Thanks, Ed. We don't see people bidding from Sacramento that often, it seems like.
This is really rare. I've actually never heard of Martin Brothers before.
Okay.
But our city engineer did due diligence and checked them out. They're in good standing with the contractors board and all of those things. And so so they would have been a viable contender. But as you can see from that, having come so far from out of area with no work in this area, what that does to their bid price. It makes it really hard to compete.
Okay, any questions?
Is Geiselman used by the school buses, or is the school buses go out on Lakeshore and come back around?
No, well, both, but Geiselman is a main route for the school buses.
For the school buses themselves?
Yes.
So the person doing the bidding knows that this thing needs to...
They were made
that kind of
aware
weight.
that school is in session and that we have detour routes set up, and we'll be working with the school, with Dave Norris and his bus barn troops to make sure that this all goes along fairly smoothly. Luckily, it's only 3 days of construction, and then there'll be 1 day of striping. But they've been made aware of the school issues and the bus issues.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that who's doing the paving is aware that you're going to have heavy vehicles driving on that road. It's not just like cars, so...
Right, we're gonna actually, during the construction phase, those 3 days, there'll be detours set up, and they won't be driving on Geiselman because there just won't be room for them.
Right.
So they've submitted a detour plan that I'm gonna get together with Dave Norris and go over and make sure that it works for him. And so we are coordinating very close, we will be coordinating very closely with the schools.
Any other questions? Anyone from the public? All right, it's exciting to get this road moving along, huh? Any other comments, or we'll take a motion?
Madam Mayor? Go ahead, Tim.
Sorry. I was just wondering, did any of our local pavers give you a time estimate of when they would be available to do the job? Or is it just a complete pass from all of them?
It was just a complete pass. They weren't asking us, hey, we're gonna be available in a couple months or anything along those lines. And unfortunately, Lake County really only has 2 paving companies that could take on a project of this magnitude. And believe it or not, one of them does a lot of work here for us, is Granite. We were totally surprised when Granite said that they were so backlogged right now that they just, out of good consciousness, would not take on another project, especially one that they knew we wanted to get done. And so they declined to bid as well. And Epindio was approached. Epindio is another one that would have the paver of a size to do this type of a project, and they have done these type of projects before. And they declined as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Okay. We'll take a motion.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to move to award the construction contract to Team Gelati, Inc. for the Geiselman Street overlay project.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to look at a resolution for the DNR Lake Properties LLC final parcel map located at 1930 South Main Street and 10 Queen Anne Way. Kevin.
Yes, good evening, Madam Mayor and fellow council members. This is more of a formality per our local subdivision ordinance. All parcel maps with 4 or fewer parcels require the review and approval by the city council. This project did come before your council in the form of your review of a general plan amendment in 2016 regarding the former Victorian Village site, the later phases. We did a rezone and general plan amendment to change the zoning out there for the area to the west of the existing Victorian Village to single-family residential, and then keeping that parcel, the remaining portion of this property that fronts Main Street, as a community commercial parcel. So this is this project is in regards to recording the final map. The city has reviewed with our consulting surveyor, the city engineer, and then also the Community Development Department has reviewed to make sure that all applicable conditions have been met. And at this time, we're asking that your council consider the adoption of the resolution so we can finish recording the map. And I know the developer is very eagerly waiting. This has taken a little longer than we would have liked, but he's also been working very closely with our building department to go ahead and start moving forward with the improvement portions of this project.
Okay, great. And our property owners here, did you want to come up and say anything tonight?
My name is Ray Somberg. I'm the owner of the property at 10 Queen Anne Way. The only thing I want to say is that this has been a tough project to get done because of all the other pre-approvals that were on the project previous to me buying the project. But the staff has done a great job to get it to where it is today.
Good.
I mean, we really have. It's been tough. It's very hard for a smaller town like Lakeport where they don't have a full-time engineer, they don't have full-time staff to handle all these things. And considering all that, I think the staff did a pretty good job.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Are there any questions anybody may have on the project?
Any questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ray.
And Ray's been very patient through this whole process. Like I
Yes.
said, it's taken us a little longer than we'd like. It's been a learning experience for us all.
Anyone else from the public? Okay, bring it back to council for final discussion or motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move to adopt the resolution approving the DNR Lake Properties LLC final parcel map located at 1930 South Main Street and 10 Queen Anne Way.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Ray, for coming out.
Thank you.
And our last item is the replacement of the 8-inch well pump and award the contract to Valley Construction. Doug?
Madam Mayor, Council, before you is a request for authorization to purchase the new 8-inch pump for the Scotts Creek well. A bid tab has been included. Valley Pump and Motor is a little bidder. There were the local pump supplier here, Duncan Pump, was solicited and requested to bid. They declined to. And I think the reason is just because of the commercial nature of this pump.
That's quite the pump.
It is a very, very large pump and something that they normally would never deal with, so it makes it much more harder for them to even find a supplier that will supply that kind of pump, and I think that's why Duncan declined to pursue this. But we're asking that it be awarded to Valley Pump and Motor for $40,685.
And we did budget for that? We were planning on it?
Yes, that is a budgeted item.
All right, any questions?
Do we have a list of what pumps are, going to be failing, might be failing type thing somewhere that we can kind of look at to see, in the future what we're going to do?
Well, that's why this was budgeted. Yes, but to answer your question, George, yes, we do have lists of all our pumps. Unfortunately, all of those pumps can fail at any given moment.
Correct.
But we do have ones that we know that are crucial, that we actually keep a spare. And so if we should have a pump go out, that spare is put in. If we had not budgeted for that, then that's when we come back to council, explain that we've got the spare in place. We're now, if the pump that we remove cannot be rebuilt, because typically they can be rebuilt, and we send them out and have them rebuilt. They're usually returned in 30 to 60 days. And then that pump goes back on standby. Okay, so it will be the next reserve pump, unless for some reason the pump that we put in there is, we don't have a super great comfort level with it, then we'll put the new rebuilt one in and pull that one back out for standby. But those are typical things that happen, and we do plan for those. And there is a list of every pump that we have everywhere. And there's a rotation schedule set up for replacing those when we know that they could be possibly close to a failure.
We do have a capital improvement project list.
Right.
And it goes out 5-10 year increments. I think we're working on a longer term, but right now, I believe up to a 5-year on all of our capital purchases that we need to do and projects within the next 5 years. We try to list those all out on our capital improvement list. So I can email a copy out.
I can't remember replacing a pump. Has it been a really long time?
Actually, I came to council about 3 or 4 months ago and requested for a pump replacement for, I believe it was the Lariku lift station.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, that,
Which is,
yeah.
is our,
That's what brought this to mind. in
Right.
Because we just did one not too long ago, and we're doing another one, so I was just wondering if there's a list and how this is working. And so basically, you answered my question. If you've got these pumps, how many there are, and you can think that, okay, it's almost time for this one to be rebuilt, let's pull that one out, put a new temp in there, rebuild it, and whatever, so.
Correct.
That's a good way to go. So.
correct. And this pump was budgeted. I mean, it was anticipated on replacing it. We knew that its life was up and that it needed to be replaced, and that's why it was placed in the budget. And so this was a totally anticipated replacement.
Yeah, and it's good to be proactive instead of reactive. So.
Particularly with sewer. You do not want to be reactive
Yeah.
with sewer.
Well, we know it all
More
runs
questions?
downhill, right? Anyway.
Councilmember Turner?
Doug, was this project applicable with the 10% local preference for local vendors? Because I noticed that we did have one from Lake County.
Which one was from Lake County? The two quotes that we got back, one was from Chico, and Valley is, I believe, out of Reading.
Lake County Pump and Water Services on Bevins.
I am not seeing that.
Okay,
the
and our
last one
table
on the
is the
chart.
third one
Yeah.
over.
For 45,000.
My chart's cut off.
I got cut
I was
off.
thinking my math could be wrong, but if there was a 10% credit, that would put them like squeakily under. So I
I
wasn't
might
sure
get
if
cut
these
off
funds allowed that. Sorry.
No problem. I am just frustrated that my spreadsheet that I was given does not have that on there. So, if,
Yep.
He's got it.
10%.
would be 4,000. I think.
45,000.
I mean,
So
it
if it was 4518 subtracted, it takes it down to 40,668, I think.
yeah, it's close.
If the council will allow me about 4 minutes to make a phone call, please?
Yeah.
I need to confer with Paul Harris,
Okay.
because I know Paul was the one that had put this out and the one that had got the bid tabs back in. And so I need to confer with Paul.
Certainly.
Thank
Sorry
you.
I didn't send that to you
Yeah.
earlier. Thank you.
No, that's a good catch.
Sorry, when you asked that question earlier, I was thinking we were talking about the.
Because I told you I was talking about the other one.
Yeah.
I was wrong. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to pause on that, but we do have some people here tonight. This is your opportunity if you have anything you'd like to talk about. Come on up. What?
No public comment tonight?
We're all happy we got a project approved. Hooray.
Hi, Leah.
Hi. I gotta talk to you after the meeting.
I'm really busy. Just kidding.
Me too.
Just teasing. Pro Tem, that was a really good catch. Oh,
Yeah.
I usually like to warn staff ahead of time
Yeah.
that I'm going to ask questions. I know how we really prioritize local vendors every place we can.
Yeah, that would make them the low bidder.
Oh, we'll hear
what else do you guys want to talk about? How about National Night Out?
That was
That was great.
quite an interesting thing.
Interesting. We had a great turnout. It went really well. For how hot it was?
Yeah, actually, I was really surprised that the lake didn't have an odor and it had a breeze, and we had the fire department out there with the water.
That was very popular.
That was.
And thank you to Supervisor Scott for bringing your family. You and your family you made up a large part of the overall party. It was very nice to see your kids.
They had a good time.
Good.
They wrapped up the rifle prizes very well too. It was almost embarrassing.
No, it's good. We had so many prizes.
Yeah.
Chief and the police staff, they really did a great job.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's my recommendation that the city booth not be located right next to the bike decorating booth. It really makes us look very unpopular.
So boring. Maybe you should offer some competing decorations.
Madam Mayor, if you want to take the council comments, I know, like we do at the end of the meeting now, you're more than welcome to do that. I think
Yeah.
that would be appropriate.
Council communication.
Council communication, yes.
Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about?
Nope.
Okay.
Just not prepared.
I want to give a
This
shout
is
out for
a-
tomorrow's public hearing for the Lakeport's lakefront revitalization plan.
Thank you, Councilman Turner.
Tomorrow morning, we also have the Area Planning Commission here at 9 o'clock. It's always exciting, and the Lake Transit Authority.
Well, I think it's exciting.
August 19th, we have the Lakeside Car and Boat Show coming up.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
And the following weekend is Taste of Lake County here in Lakeport.
Ooh, my favorite.
downtown. It's really busy. We had a busy summer for festivals this year.
Yeah,
Then after
Really
that's Labor Day weekend.
yeah, and then
Yeah, the Lake
Homecoming
County
and Oktoberfest and,
We got a busy couple
And
months.
Supervisor Scott and I are in competition for Kiss My Bass.
oh my goodness, awesome.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
How do you vote? Does the public vote?
Yeah, there's few containers around town, like since I'm trying to sponsor money for the hospice, all their areas have a donation box. There's one here, and then you vote online. You just go to the chamber website, and they have to Kiss My Bass, and you can vote online.
And if you win?
If I win, and there's the top 3 winners, the money gets split between the chamber and whatever nonprofit you chose for your endorsement. So, yeah.
Do you have
And
to
do all 3 of us have to
And you
kiss
have
the
to-
bass?
You have to kiss the bass, yes, to
Okay.
get your money.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's a live one.
It's a live one, yeah.
Thank you both for
I
not
love
saying
it.
no.
I would do anything for hospice. I was, my family was very touched by hospice and our
Yeah.
family, so it's a really important cause for me.
I actually saw your picture in Clear Lake City Hall next to Greg's picture, who's also.
We have
trying-
Greg's picture.
I know, I got Greg's, I gotta put it up, I have his here too.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta put it up.
Yeah, I gotta compete. There's this thing going on between Greg and I,
Yeah.
yeah.
Better get
Super
it up.
competitive.
Yeah, super competitive.
Oh my gosh.
I just
here
can't wait to
comes
kiss
Doug.
that bass.
Yeah.
Here comes-
That's wrong.
Mayor, members of the council, after conferring with Paul, we have to apologize because when he ran the numbers, he came up with it didn't quite make it. And so he's apologizing for that. What we would like to do at this point in time is pull this item from this agenda because before we can award to the now new apparent bidder, we have to verify their business because we've never done business with them before, and apparently they're a brand new startup. So we just want to make sure that they have all their proper licenses and tax information, all of that we have to have in order to go ahead and award. So we're going to reschedule this for the next council meeting on the 15th, and Paul will get on this tomorrow, and we'll get this, we'll get in contact with this business owner and confirm those things, and then we'll bring this back to you at next council meeting.
Perfect.
Very much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for
thank
bringing
you,
that up.
Maria. Do we need a motion or anything to postpone that, or we, because we're bringing it
That's
back?
right, we could pull it.
Okay. All right, so last chance. Anyone have anything else they want to share? Anyone from the public? All right, thanks for joining us. Meeting adjourned.